My name is Kathy. I've been with my husband Daniel for 30 years. After we got married, we lived with my mother-in-law. My father-in-law had died in a traffic accident years ago, and not wanting to leave my mother-in-law alone, Daniel suggested we move in with her. She passed away last month due to illness. My mother-in-law was a stubborn and quirky person. I struggled a lot when we first started living together.
Your cooking is terrible. I'll do all the household chores, so you don't have to do anything.
She said so and wouldn't let me help with housework. As I was working full-time, I was grateful for her help, but I always felt sorry and was constantly nervous. "Let me help, Mom," I would offer to help.
No need, you'll just be in the way.
So, I couldn't really help out. Every morning, she would wake up earlier than me and prepare elaborate breakfasts. When I greeted her in the morning, she'd say, "You're up late, sleepyhead." She even prepared nutritious packed lunches for me. When I came home from work, dinner, cleaning, and laundry were all perfectly done.
Really, Kathy, you can't even iron properly. Such a troublesome daughter-in-law.
She would say so while ironing my shirts and handkerchiefs. She was the complete opposite of me, a perfect housewife.
Kathy, you really can't do housework, can you? That's what they call a bad wife.
She would often say sarcastically, but I gradually got used to. She was just not straightforward. She did the chores for me but was too shy to admit it. Thinking about it that way, she seemed quite adorable. So, no matter what she said, I didn't get upset and kept talking to her. About a year later, I started responding to her sarcasm with a smile and jokes. On days off, we would eat snacks together, watch TV dramas, discuss them, go shopping, go to the movies, and even travel together. Having lost my own mother when I was young, I thought of my mother-in-law as my real mom. Eventually, we were as close as best friends with each other.
Kathy, where should we go on our next trip?
How about Arkansas? It has lakes and highlands.
Arkansas, that sounds nice.
Once, while discussing this, my husband interrupted.
What about me? Can't I join you too?
Mother-in-law replied,
No way, it's a girls-only trip.
Girls, at your age.
What did you say?
"All right, let's all go together next time."
Yes, a trip with Daniel might be nice for a change.
That year, the three of us went on a trip together. She was so lively, almost like a young girl, which was quite memorable. My energetic mother-in-law started to frequently fall ill about a year ago, leading to several hospital admissions and discharges. For the past 6 months, she had been continuously hospitalized. I nursed her earnestly, trying to repay the kindness she had shown me in doing the household chores. But during her hospitalization, not a single relative came to visit. My husband's brother, her eldest son, and his wife left all the caregiving to me and never showed up. Of course, I had kept them informed about her condition over the phone. One day, I asked my husband, "Why doesn't your brother visit her?" He then told me,
He married his current wife just a week after meeting her. Mom opposed it, suggesting they wait and see, but he got angry and went ahead with the marriage anyway. Since then, they've been estranged.
Hearing this, I said, "But opposing their marriage so quickly is a normal parental concern. Meeting someone for just a week and deciding to marry is too hasty." Later, I learned that my brother-in-law and his wife had lied to the rest of the family, claiming they were opposed for marrying a long-term partner, causing the relatives to ostracize my mother-in-law. She tried to explain the misunderstanding to the relatives, but her inherently eccentric personality made it hard for them to believe her. "So, is it because of your brother that no relatives visit her?" "Yeah," my husband nodded.
I tried explaining to them, but it seems they already disliked Mom and remained distant.
I felt deep sympathy upon hearing this. My mother-in-law might have been difficult, but I knew she was just shy and clumsy. Moreover, she was not only estranged from relatives. She didn't seem to have friends to visit or go out with, living a lonely life. To ensure she wasn't lonely, I took a leave of absence from work and visited her daily, staying by her side as much as possible. She would say, "How are you managing the housework without me? Don't worry about me. Go home and take care of the house." But I just smiled and brushed it off. However, her condition didn't show signs of improvement and continued to worsen. Then one day, she passed away peacefully in her sleep. Both my husband and I shed so much tears. Even after receiving the news of her critical condition, her eldest son and his wife didn't come to the hospital. They didn't even attend the funeral. A week after the funeral, my brother-in-law and other relatives suddenly showed up at our house. They wanted to discuss the inheritance. I was unaware, but my mother-in-law owned several properties and had a substantial fortune.
I'm the eldest son, so I should receive the most.
My brother-in-law arrogantly declared. The other relatives also chimed in. "We want our share too." I couldn't believe they were talking about inheritance when they didn't even attend her funeral. I was furious. Then I remembered. Yes, that's what was written in the last letter mother-in-law gave me.
Please contact this lawyer regarding inheritance matters. I've already arranged everything with him.
The letter included the lawyer's contact information. I called the lawyer and explained everything. "Hello, my mother-in-law passed away. About the inheritance."
I understand. I'll be right there.
The lawyer said he would come right away. Soon after, the lawyer arrived. He politely greeted the gathered relatives and then took out a voice recorder from his bag.
First, I'd like you all to listen to this. This recording is a message from the deceased.
He said that and then pressed the play button. My mother-in-law's voice filled the room.
Thank you all for gathering today. If you are listening to this message, it means the discussion about my inheritance has begun. I wish to leave all my estate to my second son Daniel and his wife.
At that moment, the relatives started to buzz and cause a commotion.
What does this mean?
Shit, why the heck would she do this? Why would she overlook me, her own son?
My brother-in-law was extremely angry. The lawyer interjected.
Please, be quiet. Then's more to the message.
He then continued playing the recording.
My eldest son and his wife never visited me when I was sick, leaving all the caregiving to my younger son's wife. I don't want such unfeeling people to inherit anything. In contrast, Daniel and Kathy invited me into their home and lived with me. Those years were some of the happiest years of my life. I'm especially grateful to Kathy. Despite my unfriendly nature and harsh words, you remained cheerful and upbeat. Your smile opened my stubborn heart because you never stopped knocking on its door. We became as close as a real mother and daughter. I'm sorry for all the terrible things I said to you. I will never forget the trips, the movies, the shopping trips we had, and all the wonderful memories we shared together. I never thought I'd have such a joyful second life after losing my husband and having no friends. All of this was thanks to you, Kathy. And when I fell ill, you visited me every day in the hospital. After I was discharged, you took me out for daily walks for rehabilitation. In the end, you even took leave from your job to care for me. And I know it must have been hard. Thank you so much. I'm too embarrassed to say this in person, but I'm truly grateful. I consider you my best friend and my real daughter. Please continue to live happily with Daniel.
The message ended there. As I listened, I couldn't stop my tears from falling. My husband, too, was moved to tears. The deceased recorded this message a week before she passed away, the lawyer explained.
The will stating that all her estate goes to the younger son and his wife is also documented.
He showed a document to the relatives. The relatives left in frustration and bitterness. After they had all gone away, the lawyer handed me a paper bag.
This was left for you by your mother-in-law.
Inside the bag, I found a bank book, property deeds, and a notebook. The notebook was filled with handwritten housekeeping tips. It includes recipes, cleaning advice, and stain removal techniques, complete with illustrations. My mother-in-law, knowing I struggled with housework, must have prepared this for me. Seeing this, I cried again. In front of her portrait, I joined my hands and whispered, "Thank you, Mom. I'll do my best with housework using this notebook. I'll cook delicious meals for Daniel, just like you would." Since then, I often sat in front of her photo to share various things, even minor grievances about Daniel. "Mom, your son left his sarks inside out again. He's just like a child sometimes, isn't he?" "Mom, today I tried your hamburger recipe. The shape was a bit off, but it tasted great." And of course, I shared the most important news first. "Mom, I went to the clinic today and found out I'm pregnant. Will it be a boy or a girl? I know you'd be happy. What should we name it? Please watch over us so that the baby would grow up healthily." Though she never responds, her photo always seems to smile back.